When your dog looks up at you with those warm, deep eyes, do you truly know what they actually see? You probably think they see their owner, their provider, or perhaps just their favorite human and best friend. But the scientific truth behind that gaze is far more extraordinary, profound, and beautiful than anyone ever imagined. When you finally understand what modern neuroscience and evolutionary biology have uncovered, the way you look back at your companion will change completely. Most dog owners have absolutely no idea what is happening right in front of them every single day, which means they are missing a deeply spiritual and biological connection that took thousands of years to forge. Let us dive deep into the incredible reality of what your dog truly experiences when they look at you. To understand this mystery, we have to look at how dogs differ from every other animal on the planet. You might have heard a popular theory that cats view humans as just giant, clumsy cats, seeing no real difference between you and another member of their feline colony. But do not make the mistake of thinking the same applies to your canine companion. Dogs did something in our shared history that cats, wolves, and primates never achieved. Over 15,000 years of living alongside human campfires and walking through the wilderness together, dogs evolved an entirely separate, unique set of social behaviors reserved exclusively for us. Scientists call this the human-canine bond, and it stands as an absolute anomaly in the entire animal kingdom. Your dog does not look at you and see a fellow dog. They look at you and see something they have been genetically hardwired across thousands of generations to seek out, protect, and attach their entire lives to. You are not an equal to them, nor are you just a dominant member of a pack. To your dog, you are something closer to a biological lifeline. Brian Hare, a renowned cognitive scientist at Duke University, who has dedicated his entire career to studying the depths of canine cognition, discovered that dogs have developed a shocking ability to read human social cues. It is a skill that even our closest living primate relatives, like chimpanzees, cannot match. Think about this simple experiment. When you point your finger toward an object or a hidden piece of food, your dog automatically follows the direction of your finger to look at the target. A chimpanzee, despite its immense intelligence, cannot comprehend this gesture. They will simply stare at your finger. Even a wolf puppy raised by loving human hands from birth fails to follow human pointing cues. Your dog, however, naturally understands the complex language of human intention. This is almost unsettling because it proves they didn't just learn to tolerate our presence over the centuries. They literally evolved their brains to understand our minds. This evolutionary understanding shapes every single micro-interaction between you and your dog, every single day. Consider what happens to your dog's mind when you are not even there. Your dog actively rehearses and anticipates your return the entire time you are gone. Think about the exact moment you pick up your house keys or put on your shoes. Your dog's ears instantly perk up, their posture changes, and they follow your every movement toward the front door. When the door closes, some dogs pace back and forth, some let out low whines, and others simply sit and stare at the blank door long after you have already left the driveway. For decades, people dismissed this behavior as mere separation anxiety and left it at that. But researchers recently decided to look deeper, asking what is actually happening inside the emotional centers of a dog's brain during those long, silent hours of solitude. What they discovered through advanced tracking and biometric monitoring was truly remarkable. Studies tracking isolated dogs show that their stress hormones, particularly cortisol, spike dramatically within just minutes of the owner's departure. Their heart rates rise, and their entire physical body enters a state of low-level, continuous alert. But here is the groundbreaking discovery that stops most behavioral biologists in their tracks. When researchers played audio recordings of the owner's voice into the empty room, the dog's stress levels dropped almost instantaneously. This soothing effect did not happen when they played the voice of a random stranger or even a familiar person. The neurological relief was triggered specifically and exclusively by the voice of their true owner. And it is not just the sound of your voice that keeps them grounded. Your unique scent carries the exact same power. A landmark neurological study from Emory University placed dogs into awake MRI machines to scan their brain activity. When the dogs were presented with various scents, including food, other dogs, and strangers, only one specific aroma triggered a massive, explosive activation in the caudate nucleus. This is the ultimate reward center of the brain, the area associated with deep love, intense pleasure, and positive anticipation. That single triggering scent was yours. Not the scent of delicious food, and not the scent of their own species. Just you. Your dog is not simply waiting for time to pass when you leave. They are holding on to your memory, your voice, and your scent, in every single way their biology allows, until you safely walk back through that front door. Furthermore, your dog reads the emotional landscape of your face better than most humans do. When you look at another human being's face, your eyes naturally and unconsciously drift to the left side of their face first. Neurologists call this phenomenon the left gaze bias. It happens entirely on autopilot because the right hemisphere of the human brain, which is responsible for processing deep emotions, controls the muscles on the left side of the human face. Therefore, the left side of a face displays truer emotions, and humans evolved to read that side first. Here is what is truly mind-blowing. Your dog does the exact same thing, but they display this left gaze bias exclusively when looking at humans. When researchers presented dogs with images of human faces, other dog faces, and random objects, the dogs consistently demonstrated the left gaze bias only for the human faces. They never did it for other dogs, and they never did it for objects. They evolved a highly specialized, human-directed tool for reading emotional states. This specialized evolution explains why your dog often senses that you are upset, stressed, or grieving before you have even said a word, shed a tear, or moved a muscle. They are constantly scanning and reading the micro-expressions on your face with a precision that took 15,000 years of evolutionary pressure to perfect. It goes even deeper than simple observation. Dogs can accurately distinguish between happy, neutral, and angry human expressions, even when looking at photographs of complete strangers they have never met before in their lives. They instinctively know what a human frown means without ever receiving a single day of training. So, the next time you're having a devastatingly difficult day, and your dog quietly pads across the room, sits beside you, and rests their heavy head directly in your lap, understand that they did not guess your emotional state. They read it clearly on your face, processed it inside a brain that was custom-built over millennia to pay attention to you, and made a conscious, loving decision to comfort you. Even the way your dog moves their body is a highly sophisticated, continuous broadcast of information. Specifically, the direction your dog wags their tail is a complete, grammatically correct sentence. Most people casually assume that any wagging tail simply equals a happy, friendly dog. However, canine behaviorists discovered a nuance that completely shatters this old assumption. The secret lies not just in whether a dog wags its tail, but in the specific direction the wag slants. When a dog looks at something that triggers a powerful, positive emotional response, such as their owner walking through the door after a long day or a familiar friend approaching, the tail wag heavily skews to the right side of their body. Conversely, when a dog feels sudden uncertainty, rising anxiety, or is confronting a dominant stranger that puts them on high alert, the tail wag skews noticeably to the left. What makes this behavioral trait even more astonishing is that other dogs can read these microscopic directional shifts instantly. Researchers in Italy conducted a study where they showed dogs high-definition videos of other dogs wagging their tails. When the dogs on screen wagged to the right, the observing dogs remained perfectly calm, relaxed, and secure. But when the dogs on screen wagged to the left, the observing dogs experienced a sudden, measurable increase in their own heart rates, and their bodies shifted into a defensive posture. They responded to the silent, directional signal automatically. Your dog possesses a complex visual vocabulary that they never had to learn in the world. They were born with it, and they are using it to communicate with you every single day. The actual height and speed of the wag carry immense weight as well. A tail held high and vibrating rapidly signals immense confidence, dominance, and intense excitement. A tail held low, moving in slow, sweeping arcs, signals submission, reassurance, and appeasement. Your dog is never just mindlessly wagging at you. They are actively speaking to you, pouring their heart out, and waiting for you to finally listen and understand. Ultimately, you must realize that you are the absolute center of your dog's entire universe, and there is a profound neurochemical reason for this reality. In the year 2015, a groundbreaking study published in the prestigious journal Science made massive headlines all over the globe. Researchers discovered that when dogs and their owners simply gaze quietly into each other's eyes, both the dog and the human experience a massive, unprecedented spike in oxytocin levels. Oxytocin is universally known as the bonding hormone, the exact same powerful chemical that surges through the bodies of a human mother and her newborn infant during the very first moments of life after birth. Let that scientific truth sink into your mind for a moment. When your dog looks into your eyes, their brain releases the exact same neurochemistry that human beings use to form unbreakable bonds with their biological babies. And when you look back into their eyes, your brain mirrors the exact same response. This is not mere sentimentality. This is not a case of overly emotional pet owners projecting human feelings onto domestic animals. This is a clinically proven, heavily documented biological feedback loop. It is a continuous cycle of chemical bonding that your dog triggers simply by choosing to look at you. Remember everything we have explored, how dogs evolved specifically to read the subtle changes in human faces, how they follow human intentions, and how they respond to human distress in ways no other creature on Earth can. This beautiful chemical connection is exactly what those 15,000 years of evolution were building toward. Nature was creating a creature that does not just live alongside you, but a creature that is neurochemically and biologically wired straight into your soul. Your dog does not merely tolerate your presence in the house. They do not just accept you as a convenient part of their daily environment. You are the sole reason their brain releases its most powerful chemical of love and attachment. You are the exact scent that lights up their reward system like a firework. You are the face their eyes have evolved across history to read. When your dog looks at you, they do not see an animal of a different species, and they do not see a random owner. They see the one beautiful presence that their entire evolutionary biology was designed to find. They see you, and to them, you are absolutely everything.